Hello, welcome to the first course of its kind. This is the first time that I've created a course like this. I've been wanting to do this for a while now. And this is called Empowered. This is a self-defense and empowerment course for women. And I'm super excited about sharing this course with you because I think that it may potentially help you develop the skills, the mindset that you need in order to stay safe. This course is designed for women exclusively. So it really means a lot to me to be able to come on here and share with you all, especially with the topic very sensitive. But I promise you, I am going to treat it in a very meticulous way, in a very caring way, also a very comfortable way. So, my teaching style is relaxed. So, please make sure you have some coffee or some tea or some water with you on deck. I have my coffee and I have my water. There will be times where you may feel like crying. There may be times where you feel like laughing. And all of the above is fine when you are taking this course. Please excuse any background noise. I am in the studio, however, I am still surrounded by people. So if you could just tune that out, that would be great. Having said all that, this course is going to be several weeks long. And so just be prepared. Every session is an hour session, and it is designed so that we can take our time, so that you can really sit with the information that I'm giving you, so that you can apply some of the information that I'm giving you as well to your life and not feel rushed in that process. So, again, thank you for being here. My name is Dr. B. I have an extensive background in helping women and helping children and helping men as well. However, I started my journey a long time ago. A long time ago. I've created multiple courses online, but like I said, this is my first time creating a course like this. It means a lot to me because we have reached a place in this world where domestic violence is at an all-time high, and women are oftentimes the victims of domestic violence. And so we know that women can also um, be the ones causing domestic violence. And we will talk about that later on in how to deal with your anger and how to heal if you are the one that's actually the perpetrator, if you're the one that's actually causing domestic violence and you're inflicting it on your partner or someone. We'll talk about that. And the goal here ultimately is healing. Healing. I also have another course dealing with this same topic, but teaching it to men exclusively. It's very important that we get to the heart of the matter. It's very important that healing happens to on both ends, you know. And again, if you identify as a woman, you are more than welcome to be in this course. Thank you for being here. So, I have a background as a law enforcement officer. I've been a federal law enforcement officer twice, and I've seen a lot of things. I've witnessed a lot of things as a woman. I've experienced my own my own domestic violence situation, and so this is a topic that's very close to me. Okay. I am going to be very transparent with you during the times that we go through this class. I'm going to be very transparent with you for the next few weeks. Because again, like I said, this class is a few weeks long. I'm going to be sharing my stories with you and just, again, giving you potential resources and things that you might be able to use to feel more empowered, to feel more empowered, and to again amplify your self defense. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to start, first of all, with just a grounding session. I want you to get comfortable. I want you to relax. I want you to feel like you belong here because you belong here. Somehow, some way you found this course, and I'm very grateful that you did. I don't pretend to know everything. Let's just start there. However, I have a heart that desires to serve, and I want to see change in this world. And the best way that we can see change in this world is by becoming the change that we wish to see. So you're going to see me look down at my notes here and there. Every once in a while, I may have a slide to show you or not. But really, what I want you to focus on is the material and the information that I'm giving you. That is the most important thing to focus on, and ultimately, your own healing. So, we're going to start just by grounding. We're going to start just by being. If you're in a place where you can sit and be still, that is ideal. Because what I want you to do again is to relax while you prepare to take on this information. Okay, so let's just sit and we're just going to breathe. We're going to breathe. Just breathe. And we're going to start with some affirmations. I am safe. I am worthy. I am powerful. I am safe. I am worthy. I am powerful. Again, I am safe. I am worthy. And I am powerful. Oftentimes, when a woman experiences some sort of domestic violence situation, she will automatically blame herself. She will automatically say that it's her fault. She will automatically feel foolish. There is a lot of victim blaming in society, and it needs to stop. And so it stops here with this affirmation of knowing that you are safe. Number one, you are safe. Number two, I am worthy. And number three, I am powerful. That is very important that you know that. Now, I want to say if you are in a place where you need to escape, I am going to be offering resources at the end that you can use where you can reach out to someone that could potentially help you escape your situation. Okay. Okay. So, having said that, this work has sacred purpose for me. Again, I've had my own experience with domestic violence. I will tell you this side of it before we get into the rest of this course, which I said is multiple weeks long. But on the side of being um, a survivor of domestic violence, I have definitely, done that. I remember at one point I was in a relationship with someone, and that person, they put, I say that they put their hands on me in an unloving way. And that happened 3 times. And the third time was my wake up call. The first time, I remember giving it excuses and saying, "Oh, it's because of this, because of the second time." I gave it excuses, and see, it started off mild. What I wanna tell you is that, first of all first of all, domestic violence, it isn't something usually that starts with anything physical. Usually it starts with mental abuse, it starts with emotional abuse, it could be financial abuse. These are also signs of you being in an abusive situation. So I want you, first of all, I want you to start paying attention to the signs early. For example, if you have an individual partner in your life who is judging your dress, who is judging the way that you look, who is judging the way that you wear your hair, who is judging if you wear makeup or not, these may seem like very minuscule, very minor signs, but please be advised it starts small. Please tell your daughters it starts small. It starts with control. It starts with manipulation. It starts with slowly attempting to break down your self esteem. Hear me when I say this is very important that you know this early on. When a person is attempting to control the way you look, control the way you dress, control the way you talk, control what you put on your social media, control whether or not you wear makeup, control your hairstyles, this is a sign of a person that may potentially become physically abusive. Right now, they are in the arena of being mentally abusive. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. You will see me taking a sip of my coffee and of my water during this whole time of being here. Okay. Now, what happens is, excuse me, oftentimes when we are in the beginning of a relationship, and maybe this person uh, who comes across as caring because they want to know where you are, they want to know who you're with, they want to know all of these details. You may think that this is love, but please understand that love is not control. This is when you need to definitely have both of your eyes open and both of your ears open, so that if you start to see and sense that this person is already early on attempting to control you, wanting to look in your phone, wanting to see who you're talking to, wanting to isolate you from friends, there's many signs early on that you need to pay attention to, that our teenage daughters, if they are already dating, that they need to pay attention to as well. Oftentimes, young ladies, they see someone being overly obsessed with them as love, and it is not love. Obsession is not love. Please write that down today. Obsession is not love. Control is not love. Now, in my own personal experience that I had, I can remember this is how the individual started. He started by breaking down, trying to break me down as an individual. When I say breaking me down, he was critiquing a lot of things about me. He critiqued the way that I dress, he critiqued what I put on my social media. He critiqued these things. And so it was never good enough for him. He wanted to put me in the box. Okay. This is something that's very important that you pay attention to. All right, all right. Another thing that people who have abusive tendencies will do is attempt to isolate the individual from their family, isolate them from their friends, want to take up all of their time. This is so they can get you in a place where you have minimal people to reach out to, where you have minimal help, where you are almost like you're relying on them for your everything, so that no one is really knowing what happens to you. Sometimes that happens later on in the journey of being with an abusive person, and sometimes that can happen early on. Again, you want to be mindful of some of these things, actually, all of these things very early on, so that once you start seeing and sensing, oh, wow, this person is controlling, leave them alone. Leave them alone so that you don't even go down the journey of being with an abusive, potentially abusive, physically abusive partner. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want that. So if you can avoid early on, okay, let's look at some other warning signs. Can you give me 1 second here? I'm going to pull up my notes here. Early warning signs of abusive partner. Okay. And please forgive me, my internet is a little bit slow here. Okay. All right. So again, these are red flags that you want to start looking at. Like I said, I already identified controlling of behavior. They insist on knowing your every move. Again, where are you? Where are you? Who are you with? This may come across again as someone who is just so loving and so kind that they need to know everything about you. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is a red flag, okay? Again, like I said, monitoring your phone calls, your social media, your messages, your emails. This is a red flag. They control finances. This is one that I hadn't mentioned yet. They control finances, who pays, how much you spend, and access to your money. Again, this is a sign of financial abuse. Pay attention to all of these early warning signs. Again, isolation, I mentioned that earlier. They discourage or block your time with friends, family, or support networks. Okay. Uh, Pay attention to that. Or they pit people against you or say your loved ones are the problem. Pay attention to that. Excessive jealousy or possessiveness. Okay. Now, I want to say this. Not all of these signs may be present. Only some of these signs may be present. In my own experience that I had with this particular individual, not all of these signs were there. However, there were some. For example, I can remember the accusations of flirting. I was accused of that. Again, this is a sign of someone who is possessive, a sign of someone who is jealous. Oftentimes, once again, especially young ladies, they tend to think that this means that this person cares so much about me because look at how jealous they are. But let me tell you, love is not jealousy. Okay, so far we learned that obsession is not love, control is not love, and jealousy is not love. All right. So anyway, this person, they may again be excessively jealous or possessive, accuse you of flirting or cheating, distrust you even if there's no reason. Okay, they become upset or angry if you spend time away from them or don't respond quickly. Okay, I can remember a time I was out of town. I was doing speaking somewhere, and on a stage somewhere, for a conference. And I can remember the person that I was with at the time being very upset that I didn't get back to them right away, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Again, this is a warning sign. These are all warning signs that typically come in the beginning before anything physical happens. This is a great time to get out of that relationship early. So again, so you don't even have to potentially go down the path of someone physically putting their hands on you. All right. Blame and refusal of accountability. Okay. They blame you or outside things for their own bad behavior. Look at what you made me do because you did that, because you wore that, because that was on your social media, because you said that. This is what I'm saying. They will blame you or outside things for their own bad behavior. You made me do this. This is another clue too. They never admit fault or apologize in a sincere way. Now, I want to say this. This is a caveat. In the individual that I had an experience with, that person was always apologizing for different things, but it wasn't sincere. Because an apology requires a true apology requires a change in behavior. If there's no change in behavior, then you might as well just throw the apology out of the window. Okay. Mood swings, very unpredictable. Again, the person that I was with at the time, you didn't know whether they were going to be happy, whether they're going to be upset, what kind of mood they were in at any given moment. And this is before anything became physical. Mood swings, a Jekyll and Hyde type of behavior. You don't know what you're going to get. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. You're probably in a situation that you need to get the hell up out of early before it turns into anything else. I have to be very real with you and very transparent with you so that you can get your healing. All right. For example, one moment they're sweet and affectionate, charming, giving you everything that you want and more. And the next moment, they're harsh with their words, angry and critical. That's another thing too. They're criticizing you. They're very critical. This is important. Please take notes today. Are you currently in an abusive relationship and you just don't know it? All right. Again, this is the beginning. They may react wildly over small triggers or make you feel like you're walking on eggshells. Again, that criticizing spirit, that, blowing up out of nowhere. You're like, well, what happened? We were just having a great time. No, you weren't. Okay. Because this person was already like a tick, tick, boom. You understand? They were already seconds away from going off, only you didn't know about it. These are early warning signs. And again, you might not see all of them. But doggone it, if you see just a couple of them, please pay attention to these signs and get out. Because again, obsession is not love, control is not love, and jealousy is not love. For example, and a person that can't control their emotions, that's not love. Okay. Another thing that could happen too, pressure to move fast, early commitment. They're ready to take you down the aisle already. And sometimes, as a woman, you might feel, oh, I want to get married. I want to this and that and other thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But please pay attention to someone that is trying to rush you into a commitment. You just met them yesterday. You understand? Please pay attention to this. I'm not saying that this is always the case, that that person will always be abusive. But what I'm saying, this is a sign when they push for a serious commitment quickly. We should move in, for example. You don't even know this person from Adam. You don't know him from, you don't know him, you don't know her, you don't know your partner from Adam. And they already want to move in with you. Be mindful of that. Okay. Again, this is a red flag. It's a red flag. Uh, you're the one. It sounds romantic. It sounds beautiful. But again, the timing. Sometimes when things happen too quickly, you can consider that a red flag. I'm not saying that this person will absolutely be a physically abusive person, but what I am saying is this is a red flag. When you start collecting these flags, oftentimes where there is smoke, baby, there is fire. So please pay attention to this early on when you are dating, when you are seeing someone, when you are being courted by someone. They try to intensify emotional connection rapidly to gain control. It's not because they love you, it's to gain control. All right. Disrespect. The disrespect starts early, telling you to shut up. That's not normal. That's not a normal way of communicating with someone you love. Disrespect is not love. Disrespect is not love. Okay? They belittle, insult, or humiliate you publicly or privately. I've had the experience of publicly and privately with this one individual. And it's slight. It can be very slight, like trying to make a joke, but it's the joke's on you. Okay? Trying to make you look bad in front of someone else or privately. Again, going back to criticizing and saying mean things. That's not love. There's no love in it. Okay. They put you down about your thoughts, about your feelings, about your appearance, and even about your intelligence. If they are intimidated and put you down because you're intelligent, please take that as a flag on the play. Mm, okay. Again, these are early warning signs. I need to give you the early warning signs. That is what Spirit says. It's time for that. Sexual coercion or pressure. They're pressuring you into having sex. Okay. Pressuring you into sexual acts when you don't want to, trying to manipulate or guilt trip you. When it comes to love, when you are of age, and when it comes to love, there is no pressure. There is no coercion. There is no guilt coming from your partner. It is something that when you are of age and you are grown, it is something that you freely give. Love is a gift that is given, not a gift that is expected, not a gift that is taken. Love is not expectation. What have we learned so far? Obsession is not love. Control is not love. Jealousy is not love. Not being able to control your emotions is not love. Um, and having expectations, expecting someone to lay down with you and trying to guilt them into doing it is not love. They force or threaten. Um, They use force or threats, even if non physical, to coerce intimacy. And also, too, I want to say, okay, now this is for my mature audience. We live in a time where people think that abusive intimacy, abusive love, and I can't even call it love, abusive acts in the bedroom Okay, I have to make sure that I'm saying this in a way where it can be digestible for a mature audience, but I have to be mindful that young ladies may hear this as well. We live in a time where people think that abusive acts in the bedroom is love making, and it's not. For example, wanting to choke you. Okay. For example, wanting to cause harm, wanting to beat it up, all of these other things, they may seem like, oh, yeah, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Sometimes these are warning signs, and you think that it is fine because they talk about it in the music videos and all the music, and so you have normalized it. But let me tell you, love is sweet. It is not abusive. It does not physically cause harm to you. It does not choke you for fun. Now, I have to be real with you today because somebody needs to tell you that love is not meant to choke you out. Okay. Another example of early warning signs of a person that may potentially be abusive would be destruction or intimidation. They break or damage property. You see them punch a wall, that could be you next. You say, well, because he cares so much, he's so passionate. No, because she cares so much, she's so passionate. No, absolutely not. Love does not go around punching walls. Love does not go around breaking things. Because, see, first they break the table, then they attempt to break you physically. A person who threatens you, oh, you almost made me. Oh, you about to make me. No, there is no about to make you do nothing. By the time they finish that sentence, you're already gone. There's no rhyme or no reason for you to be there because you know what's next. Nobody can make anybody do anything. This person has a choice whether or not they do something. Everybody has a choice. So you cannot make someone physically lay hands on you. And when it starts with threats, this is your warning sign to get out of there. Again, typically, when it comes to abusive relationships, it does not always start off automatically physically abusive. No, it starts off a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And then next thing you know, that person is putting hands on you in an unloving way. This is why it's important to pay attention to the warning signs early so that you never get to that point where they're physically putting hands on you. This is why it's important to teach our daughters, because this class is for those who identify as women, to teach our daughters the early warning signs so they are not confusing obsession, control, and expectations for love, so that they could potentially save their lives. Again, they may threaten, give intimidating looks, actions, or verbal threats. They may harm animals. A partner that is harming animals or children, that person may potentially harm you. Because if you can harm an animal or a child, you're already showing that you're not balanced. Okay? So, having said that, this is a warning sign. If they're seeking to control or scare children, they may harm animals or children to control or scare them. This is a warning sign. Okay. All right. A subtle erosion of your confidence. Okay. It's just, again, this is Very subtle. I don't like that dress. Why did you say it like that? They dismiss or undermine your feelings or reasoning. Okay, this is important. They pressure you to change who you are. They found you like you were, but they pressure you to change who you are. See, you were good enough to get with them, you understand? But now they want you to change who you are. All of a sudden, you're not good enough, but you were good enough to get with in the first place. This is a problem. This is a red flag on the plate. All right. Again, they pressure you to change who you are or what you believe to suit them, not to suit you, to suit them. They want to build a bear. Okay. They want to build a bear you. They want you to be completely different than who you are. All right. So again, if you see several of these signs in someone you're with or someone you're considering, this is a signal to pause. To pause, to protect your energy, to evaluate that relationship more deeply, in some cases, to get the hell out of there, to get the hell out of there early. It's very important. All right, let's continue here. I'm going back to my notes. Okay, so self-defense. Let's talk about that. Self-defense is not just physical, okay? And this is one of the things that I learned in law enforcement. Because there are levels in law enforcement to protecting others and protecting yourself. And as a law enforcement officer, you are there to serve and protect. That is what you do. There are levels of doing this. And it may not always require you to be physical, okay, with someone in order to protect and serve. All right. So, what I'm saying when it comes to self defense, it may not require you to actually defend yourself in order to get away from a threat. The first place of self defense is to understand that it's not just physical. The first step of understanding self defense is understanding that it's not just physical. Self defense is mental and emotional and spiritual and energetic. Oh, again, self defense is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic protection. Okay. So let's go into this a little bit more. All right. Again, thank you for bearing with me and my notes and all of that jazz and a little bit of the background noise that we may have. Again, I'm hoping and I'm praying that you're able to tune that out and that you could focus on the lecture at hand. All right. So again, let's go deeper into this defining self-defense beyond physical. First, let's start with the physical. This is what most people think about first. But when it comes to law enforcement, for example, it isn't first. Your presence is first. But we'll get into these things. We'll get into these things as we go throughout the weeks as well. Now, physical protection is what most people think of first, protecting your body from harm. And you may be in a situation where you have to do that, where you have to protect your body from harm. Say, for example, someone tries to grab you from behind. There may be certain moves that you need to do in order to, free yourself from that grab. Okay. Or someone they lunge at you from in the front. There may be certain moves that you need to do in order to protect yourself that way. Okay. So with the physical, this includes awareness. Now, I would say that the most important aspect to physical protection is to be aware of your surroundings in the first place, to have all eyes and ears on. For example, if you're walking down the street, you know what's behind you. You know if someone is behind you. You are aware of what is happening. You realize if somebody is in your personal space. In the Air Force, they would call it your area of responsibility. The moment somebody's in your area of responsibility, they're already too close. They're already too close, especially if you are walking alone. Let's say it is nighttime. You have to keep all of these other variables in mind. Okay, so again, the physical protection includes awareness of your surroundings. This is also knowing how to say no with your body language. Your body language is very important when it comes to protection, when it comes to self-defense. Learning how to say no with your body, using your body language to say, "I'm not interested. I'm not the one." Okay. This is something that could take place. This is something that takes place, at the very beginning. Again, before there's any potential physical contact that you may have with someone, it's letting them know that you are not interested by your body language, by your face, by your presence. If your presence says, "I'm not here for it today," that's the energy that you want to put out. Okay. Okay. Also, using your voice, you may use your voice. Again, that example of someone's following you, or you're walking down the street, you notice someone is following you too close. It's nighttime. Somehow, you feel your spidey senses tingling. You don't have a good feeling about it. Trusting your intuition is very important that you do that. You may turn around and you may say, "Stop following me." I remember one time, I've had this happen to me a few times. Okay. It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon as people might think, you know. But having said that, I can remember someone, they were just walking too close to me, and it was nighttime and I was not here for it. And baby, I turned around and said, "I am not the one you want to follow." Again, giving that energy of, "I'm not here for this." My answer is no. I am not the one. I will give you a run for your money. You see what I did there? Again, it's the energy, it's your presence. Your presence is your first form of self defense when it comes to anything physical. Your presence. And then I proceeded to cross the street. Okay. Again, as a form of protecting myself. Physical skills may be needed when it comes to self defense. For example, I can remember one time I was out of town. This man started following me. He was following too close to me. He got in my area of responsibility. I told him, "Stop following me. I'm not the one." Okay. But he got closer and closer and closer. I said, "All right." And I ended up having to give the man a throat chop, but it was a chop in the chest. Okay. To back him off of me. I had to do that to protect myself. Now, I'm not saying you go around throat chopping people, yet I am saying when it comes to you needing to physically protect yourself, then you need to physically protect yourself and not play with people. If you feel like someone is trying to do something to you and they are in your space and you feel threatened, you may be in a situation where you have to use some form of physical protection. Oftentimes, people tell you, Oh, you need to carry a gun, da 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 da. But let me tell you, as a former federal police officer, I know for a fact that not all people can even get to their gun quick enough. And sometimes the situation may not even warrant that. What I am saying is the first step is your physical presence, being aware, having a no in your spirit, having a no in your body language, having a no literally in your voice, and if necessary, to get them off of you. Nobody wants to lay hands on anybody. Yet, if you feel like you are in a situation where you are threatened and you have no choice but to fight, and you can't flight and you need to fight, that's why we have the response fight or flight within our system. We have it there for a reason. And there may be times, which I pray it never happens, but that is exactly why I have this course for women. There may be a time where you need to either fight or flight. Okay. And in that case of fighting, a physical skill might be needed in order to protect yourself. Again, I'm not saying that you go around slapping people up for no reason at all. Don't do that. But know how to protect yourself if you need to, physically, with your hands first. Your presence first, your verbal judo first, and if necessary, your hands. Okay? You want to learn how to maintain a distance in the first place. You want to learn how to call for help if need be. You want to know how to break free if somebody tries to grab you. Okay, again, fight or flight. Mental protection. Mental protection is protecting your thoughts from manipulation, fear, and self doubt. Again, this is the beginning of abuse. When someone is slowly trying to destroy you mentally, this is why it's so important. Mindset is number one always. Mindset. Again, that's why we started with the affirmations to begin with. Very important. Protecting your thoughts from manipulation, fear, and self doubt to begin with. Recognizing when someone is trying to gaslight you, confuse you, or control your perception of reality. That didn't really happen. You saying that happened? That didn't really happen. What? And you know it happened. You were there. Someone trying to convince you of something other than what the reality was. Someone trying to manipulate you. Smoke and mirrors, playing games. What? I didn't say that. Yes, you did. Okay. Example, if they make you question what you know to be true, like I just said, that's mental manipulation. That's a form of abuse. Okay. Defend your clarity. You know, you remember. Okay. Emotional protection, guarding your heart. Uh, ladies, 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 guard your heart. Guard your heart. As ladies, it is said that we are natural nurturers. But let me tell you, it is not meant for you to be a hospital to sick patients. Patients belong in the hospital. You are not the hospital. We are not nurturing sick individuals. That's not what we're doing. We're not giving out all of our goodness to someone who is abusive, because then we're wasting our goodness. Why? No need to do that. We're not doing it. Okay? Guarding your heart is very important. Choosing who gets access to your emotions, because not everybody gets access to your secret emotions, because they're valuable and they mean something. Not everybody gets access to them. Not allowing guilt, shame, or emotional blackmail to dictate your choices. Okay. Example, learning to walk away when someone repeatedly invalidates you, your feelings, or uses tears or anger to keep you in the cycle. I remember story time. I remember one individual, every time he did something that he knew was wrong, he would break down and cry every time, every time. And I would cry and I would care and I would cry. And then one day I told him, I said, one day I'm going to have to care more about my own tears. Uh, ma'am, today is the day that you care more about your own tears because people will use that type of manipulation to keep you in a situation that is toxic. All right, now keep you in a cycle, keep you in a loop. Spiritual protection is another form of protection. Defending your peace is priceless. It's priceless. Allow no one to attempt to darken your counsel. Baby, I always tell my mother, we joke about it all the time. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Bring me something I could use. Those of you who have seen The Wiz, you know where that quote comes from. All right. Again, defending your peace and energy field from people, environments, or habits that drain you. This is a good way to see. If you're around someone and when you leave them, you feel worse than how you did before you got with them. Let's say you go out to dinner with them, you leave worse than how you felt before dinner. Baby, leave that person alone. You don't need to go out with that person. That person drains your energy. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. Someone that drains your energy is not the person you need to hang around with to begin with. What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't do it. I know I'm dropping wisdom today because the coffee is almost done. Anyway, spiritual protection. This means praying, okay, if needs be, meditating, cleansing your energy. I have a mystery school. I talk about different mysteries, okay, including different affirmations that you might say and speak over your life. This is done so that you can change up the vibrational frequency around you. The more you lift your vibration, the less you attract those who are of a lower vibration in the first place. They either gonna rise to your vibration or leave you alone. And if your vibration is high, you're not gonna want to hang around with somebody with a low vibration to begin with. You're gonna leave them alone. You're gonna say, "Oh, you pulling me down. I can't be with you." Be with people who make you feel better, who make you feel good, not people who make you feel worse, make you feel like trash. Okay. Again, cleansing your energy, setting spiritual boundaries, having a strong no in your spirit. Absolutely not. If don't do what you don't want to do, stop doing that. Let your no be your no and let it be a solid no. No. And someone who loves you and who respects you will understand your no as well. They will respect your no. Example, every time you feel heavy after being around someone, like I said, every time you feel heavy after being around someone, that's your spirit saying, protect me, please. I don't like it over here. This person make me tired. Again, Early warning signs. For example, people say, oh, butterflies, I got butterflies in my stomach. I used to think that butterflies in my stomach was such a beautiful thing. Oh, every time before he comes, I get butterflies in my stomach. No, those were your nerves telling you to leave that person the hell alone. Leave them alone. Pay attention to your body. Your body will tell you. Your body is not going to lie to you. You might attempt to lie to you, but your body will tell you. This person, when we leave them, I have a headache. All right, now. Energetic protection. Understanding that everyone carries a vibration. We just basically are talking about that. Okay. And your body reacts to it, and you can sense it. You're around someone who's very loving, very kind, very sweet, very joyful, makes you smile bigger, makes you want to just open up more. That's a loving vibration. Okay. Your body reacts to it. Okay? Using breath work, okay, visualization and grounding to shield your energy. I always say spend time in nature. Go by some trees, like go literally sit down by some trees in nature. Go sit by a body of water in nature and just sit and be still. And let nature recalibrate you. Okay. Imagine yourself being protected in the first place. I like to say, everywhere I go, I am loved. Now, I am not saying that I'm not doing this course because I'm saying you're going to walk out and be attacked and you're going to be in abusive relationships. No, I'm not speaking that over your life. As a matter of fact, I speak love over your life. I speak healing over your life. I speak peace over your life. I speak joy over your life. Indeed. Indeed. I'm simply creating this course so that you feel empowered just just in case something happens where you need to feel empowered. Okay. And you need to be empowered anyway. All right. Okay, so again, the reason why I broke down these different ways of, or these different examples of self defense is so that you understand that self defense is holistic, so that you understand that self defense is not just physical. Why is this important? Because again, abuse, people who are abusive, again, they don't necessarily start off laying hands on you in an unloving way. They may start off being emotionally abusive, mentally abusive, spiritually abusive. It's another thing we haven't covered yet. Spiritually abusive. I'm the man. You need to submit to me. Watch out. Watch out. Because let me tell you something, many man made religious systems have purposely put women in positions of second class citizens, justifying abuse. I'm not saying every religious man carries that abusive card, but what I am saying is the man made religious systems have often put women in positions as second class citizens again and justified abuse. So think about that. Be mindful of that. You have to use wisdom in all things. Okay, so let's see. I believe that we're at the end of this class. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's been about an hour that I've been going off. Let's see what else I want to cover. Da, da, da. Okay, I'm going to cover a few things and then I'm going to let you go and just kind of sit with everything that I told you on today. All right. Um, I want you to think about cultivating a resilient mindset. Remember how I said earlier that mindset was number one in the first place. Knowing who you are, knowing how beautiful you are. Let me sit up. Knowing how valuable you are, knowing how special you are, how priceless you are. You are a jewel. You are the crown jewel. The crown jewel. Very important that you have self esteem. Self esteem is something that comes from within. It is not something that is given to you, it is something that comes from within. So if you need to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am beautiful, I am lovely, I deserve love. I am worthy. These are very important things to tell yourself. As a matter of fact, you might want to start doing that. Start telling yourself in the mirror, I love you. Very important. Self love. What you want to do is explore what resilience means. Okay. All right. This is the ability to recover, the ability to adapt, the ability to rise stronger. Okay, to be resilient, nothing can stop you. Change, it's inevitable, but nothing can stop you because you can bend like the willow tree, but you won't break. That's an example of being resilient. Nothing will stop you, nothing can destroy you. Nothing can destroy you. This is very important that you know that you know that you are resilient no matter where you are. No matter where you are, whether you've experienced an abusive situation and you freed yourself from it, knowing that you're resilient. Whether you're in the middle of an abusive situation and you're wondering how to get the heck out of it, you are resilient. You need to know today that you are resilient, that you can do anything. Yes, you can. You can do anything. Absolutely. Important that we reprogram our thoughts. Oftentimes, the thoughts that we have put us in situations that we need not be in, thoughts of fear, thoughts of shame, thoughts of guilt, afraid of being by ourselves, for example. You know. All right, let me continue. I want you to think about this right now. This, when we're talking about resilience, think of one time in your life where you had to overcome something that you thought would break you, but it didn't. Think about that. Think about the strength that you had to overcome that situation. Let me tell you something. That same strength is within you now, right in this moment. What was that inner strength that showed up for you? Think about that. All right. Also, self worth. Again, self esteem, self worth. Very important. All right. What you want to start doing again is the affirmations. I gave you 3 affirmations earlier today. I'm going to add some more just like I did a few minutes ago. I love you. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. I am worthy. I am worthy to be loved. I am beautiful, for example. Start repeating these affirmations in front of a mirror. All right. Again, self worth is not something that's earned. You don't need to earn self worth from anybody else. Nobody can give it to you. No, you're already worthy. It's divine. You don't have to earn anybody's love. Love is a gift. You are love. You are loved and you are worthy to be loved. There is no such thing as a high value this and a high value that and a low value this and a low value that. You can throw that out the window. You're worthy to be loved because you exist. Period. And point blank. Because you are here and you are breathing. You are pure love. Pure love. So ask yourself, what does it mean to truly value myself? All right. Okay. Again, let's just go ahead and prepare to close this circle for this time until we meet at our next class. Okay. There are several classes within this empowered self-defense course for women. Several classes. This is class number 1. Let's just recap. Obsession is not love. Control is not love. Jealousy is not love. The inability to control one's emotions is not love. And having expectations is not love. Love is not expectations. Love is not expectation. I'm gonna say it again. I know that's a hard one to grasp. I get it because when I heard it the first time, I was like, what? Love has no expectations. That doesn't mean, though, that you accept anything from anybody. That's not what that means. That simply means that you don't have a laundry list, or someone is not creating a laundry list of things that you need to do in order for them to love you. They love you because they love you. You love a person because you love a person, not because of anything that person does, not because of anything that that person could do. You love them because you choose to love them, because love is a gift. Either you're going to give it or you're not, and you have the choice to not give it. Okay. All right. Okay, so last but not least, let's go into some resources here. Give me one second here. Okay. All right. Last but not least, I'm going to leave you with some resources that you can use. Give me one second. Okay, so there's 24/7 hotlines that are available to you. This is the domestic violence or national domestic violence hotline. It is 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. Okay? And then you can text START to the number 88788. Text START to the number 88788. Again, you can verify all this information online. Realize that numbers change, okay? There's also the hotline.org. They're available for chat online. And for teenagers and young girls, there is the number, well, it's called Love is Respect, and there's a number 1-866-331-9474, or you can text Love Is to 22522. Okay, there's also the National Sexual Assault Hotline, which is 1-800-656-4673. The website is rainn.org, RAINN.org. Okay, let's see what else. And then also there's the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, which their website is ncadv.org/resources. All right, so let's go ahead and ground ourselves. Just like we came in grounded, we're going to leave grounded. Let's go ahead and relax. I know we laughed today. Some of you may have cried today. And I just want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with me during this sacred hour with this topic that is so important that we discuss. So let's go ahead and take a nice, deep, big breath. All right. Again, thank you so much for being a part of this session, and I will see you at the next session. Bye for now.